Hi, I'm Jessica Ballant, a physical therapist and Pilates teacher, and I want to bring science-based knowledge, empathy, courage, support, love, and hopefully some fun to the journeys we have with our bodies. There is hope and strength in your body, and my goal is to help you find it. Hi, and welcome back to Meet Your Body, our first episode of 2025, and I'm not sure if this is any indication of how your new year is going. I am recording this from the car, which might not sound like a big deal, but I have all my equipment with me. So I usually do this at my desk at home with my microphone and my headphones and all the software. And today I wanted to get this recorded for you, and it didn't work out at home, but I knew I was going to have an hour and a half in the car tonight. It's the one kiddo activity that we don't watch. Like, they don't want us in there watching, which is fine. I've watched this activity a lot. It's one of our daughter's favorite things. We've been here for years. I am so comfortable at this place. It's like a second home for her. And so also we live not next door to this place. And so I'm not going to go home in the middle. So I do work while she's here. And so I thought, you know what? I think I could record this from my car. So I am the person in the parking lot right now with my big headphones on, with my microphone and my computer and my software, recording this podcast for you. That's how much I wanted to get it done for you. And I love talking to you, but I'm laughing because this isn't necessarily typical, but this is how days go sometimes. And honestly, if I didn't want to get it out to you so badly, I would have waited to do it tomorrow, but I really wanted to get it out today. So we are absolutely making it happen, and I hope you are having a good start to 2025. I am 3 weeks out from my surgery, 3 weeks and a few days, let's say 3.5 weeks out from my last surgery, which was a fat grafting procedure that's commonly done after mastectomy. When you have mastectomy with reconstruction, rippling can happen. It's very common. It's just an aesthetic thing on how the breasts look. And so I decided to have that procedure done. Again, it's common after a mastectomy. I kind of consider it a revision. And so I had that done 3.5 weeks. So I am entering the new year tired. Honestly, like really tired, not feeling like myself. And so as we start this podcast, the first one of the new year, I want to make sure that I tell you and honor wherever you are right now listening to this. You might feel the excitement and energy and kind of hustle feeling of a new year, and you might not. You might be like me, that you're actually pretty tired. You kind of want to hit pause. I wanted to hit pause right before New Year's Eve and say, you know what, can we wait a couple weeks? I'm not quite ready. I have a lot of brain fog. I'm pretty sore. But life doesn't work that way, right? It keeps moving. The next day comes no matter what. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And also sometimes it means time just keeps going, and life is going to throw you the ups and the downs and the curveballs, and it doesn't really take into account whether it's January 1st and a new year is coming. So I say all that to say that it's okay however you feel right now entering the new year, and everything I say to you today, everything we talk about, can still be applicable. You can still start your goals, or you can still create goals. Or you know what? You can wait an entire month and decide that February is your new year if you want to. I read something recently that it used to be hundreds of years ago. The calendar, the new year actually started in March, which makes kind of more sense to me, right? In the spring, when everything is blooming and new life is coming. And then somehow we moved it to January. I didn't read enough to find out why that was. But all of that to say that the new year, it can represent a blank slate, which I actually really like. I actually really, really like the new year. I love the blank slate idea and kind of planning for a new year. But also, you can start it in February. You can start it in March. You can start it any time. Absolutely any time. And you can start it with any frame of mind. You don't have to wait until you are feeling like a cheerleader ready to go, rah, rah, let's go. You don't have to wait for that. Okay, you can start wherever you are. And that really dovetails perfectly into what we're going to talk about today, which is motivation and consistency. Okay, they go hand in hand, at least how we're going to discuss it today. They go hand in hand. And I want to talk about that because, again, it is January. I've worked in the health and wellness and fitness fields for 25 years. And one thing I can say year after year is that January is always our busiest time. Absolutely. And that's great. Again, I'm cheering you on as a beginner. Whenever you start as a beginner, that is awesome. Like, I am such a huge cheerleader and supporter of beginners. It is absolutely one of my passions is working with people who are beginning anything. I mean, physical therapy, fitness, mobility, whatever it is. And so January tends to be a time that we do that. It's just human nature. And a lot of the messaging out there in this world of fitness and health and wellness is, the 7 days to a flat belly and 10 days to a bigger booty, and all of these messages. Like, start January 1st, cut everything else out, do this, do it every day. Now's the year, no excuses. And there might be some people out there that those messages are really encouraging. For many of us, me included, those messages are not encouraging, actually. They take me to a narrative of feeling like I'm just not doing enough, to be honest. And I know I'm not alone in that. And so what happens a lot of time with that messaging is there is a lot of discouragement. There is a lot of defeat when we try something and it doesn't work. And so then we stop. And then we haven't gotten the benefits of a true movement program and feeling strong, which I absolutely 100% know everyone can achieve when they have the right support. So I am determined all year, but especially in January, to try to give you that support, to give you that encouragement. And a lot of that revolves around the messaging with motivation and consistency, because I know what happens when you don't stick with a program. Again, the narrative, outer narrative, and then the inner narrative. So what we hear from outside voices in marketing, and then also what we tell ourselves, that inner narrative that isn't always kind. We tell ourselves when we can't stay consistent with something that it's our fault, that we just don't have enough willpower, that we're just not strong enough, and so then we stop. And that is what I really want to dig into today, because motivation and consistency, yes, are both extremely important. And also, there are ways to dig into it to figure out why you might struggle with motivation and consistency. And then there are actionable steps to take to pull yourself out of that so that you can start to consider yourself someone who is motivated with fitness and movement and someone who can be consistent with it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm really, I don't want to use them interchangeably because they are two different things, but the way we're talking about them today, they have very similar steps we need to take in order to achieve them. So let's just clarify really quick kind of what I mean by those two terms. So motivation is kind of your inner energy that you have, or that inner work that you put towards, we'll say, exercise and movement. That's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So that inherent, right, like built into you, what you feel when it comes to taking that first step to do something. So to try something or to do something. Like, is that really high? Do you have that excitement or that high energy to do it? Can you feel why it's important? Can you see that long-term gain? Can you see that long game? That's your motivation. Consistency. So again, motivation is that inner feeling. Consistency is the outer doing. So the consistency is doing something regularly. Okay? Over and over and over again, being consistent with it. Those are the two things that we are going to be talking about today. And they both play a big role in your long-term movement plan. And again, I really want to dive into what roles they play, how you can find that for yourself, how you can get out of the defeat around it, and actionable steps that you can take. So again, one reason that this is so important to me is because the messaging is out there that if we don't have the motivation or we are not consistent, then we have done something wrong. Then it's something wrong with our willpower and our inner strength, right? That no matter how busy we are, no matter how many things we have going on, we need to have that no excuses mentality, and we need to pick ourselves up and just get it done. And I will say that there's a teeny bit of truth to that. And we'll get to that, how sometimes you do just have to get it done. There are times that you might not want to work out, that you just need to roll out your mat or put on your shoes and get started. But that is a teeny tiny piece of this. We're going to start by going over some reasons that you might not be motivated, or you might have a hard time finding motivation and or being consistent. The first thing is that you might not feel safe in your body. This is a big one I talk about all the time and is one of the most important pieces when it comes to health, fitness, movement, is feeling safe in your body. If you have a history of injuries, of doing a workout and you're not sure what's going to make you sore or what isn't going to make you sore. If you have autoimmune issues where you can get into a flare really easily and it's hard for you to come out. If you have a history of trauma of any kind of trauma at all. If you have any kind of history of being disembodied, like that separation from your body where you don't know really what it's saying to you, you don't know how to listen to it. If you have a narrative in your head of feeling like you don't look the right way, and I'm saying this in air quotes, okay? If you don't look the right way, feel the right way, if you don't fit into certain fitness classes, if you're not welcome in certain fitness classes, all of those things lead to you being, again, kind of disembodied and not feeling safe in your body. And that leads to you not feeling motivated. If you aren't sure what workouts are going to make your knee pain worse, which then leads to you not being able to go up and down stairs and do your job, then of course you're going to have a hard time being motivated to work out because you don't want to have that pain. If you have a history of any kind of trauma, and we're talking physical trauma, sexual trauma, emotional trauma, any kind of trauma surrounding movement or your body, it might be really, really hard to know what workouts are going to trigger that or not. If you know what it feels like to be an autoimmune flare, where you then can't do anything for 2 weeks, of course you're going to be nervous about starting a new workout. Of course, that is going to be hard to be consistent and to be motivated. So the first thing you need to do is dig into that piece and figure out what you can do to start feeling safe in your body. Another reason you might not be motivated or be consistent is that you just don't trust that you're going to see results. Like maybe you have a history of trying different programs that you were really, really excited about, and you didn't see the results that you thought you would or that you wanted to, right? You've just been burned by things in the past. So why bother starting now, or why try now? So that's a common one. If you don't trust the process, if you don't trust who you're working with, if you don't trust your own body, if you don't trust those things, if you don't trust you're going to see results, it's going to be really hard to be motivated, right, to do anything. Another one is that you have that fear from pain or injury. So that would be similar to not feeling safe in your body, but it's just a really specific piece of it, that you truly do have an injury or a past injury, or you've just finished rehabbing from back pain, right? And you think, oh my gosh, I cannot possibly risk hurting my back again. Those things are going to make it hard to be motivated and consistent. Another one is that you keep waiting for the excitement to come. And I hear that a lot, or I feel that a lot, that again, I think that comes from this fitness influencer place where people are always rah, rah, cheerleading, let's go, so excited, which I like. I mean, I do. I like seeing other people's energy, but I'm going to be really honest. When I am taking classes from people who constantly have that energy, it starts to feel disingenuous to me. Like it starts to feel that it's not real, because I am not at that place all the time. You guys, I do this for a living. Like this is my job and I truly love it. And I don't feel that way all the time. And so to put that message out there, that you need to have that excitement all the time, is just not, it's not real life. And so if you're constantly waiting to feel really excited, like, yes, I want you to get to a place where you like it. Absolutely. Like we don't want to, this shouldn't be a slog through mud the rest of your life whatsoever. You should absolutely get to a place that you enjoy it, actually for the sake of doing it. You enjoy the connection to your body, you see the results, and you find the strength. You should get to that point. But it is just not realistic to expect every single workout to be the most fun, exciting thing you've ever done. And then another thing that can actually really, really hold us back is just being paralyzed by the amount of choices out there. There are so many choices when it comes to fitness. I mean, how many days a week do you do cardio? How many days a week do you lift weights? And if you're going to lift weights, is it dumbbells or barbells best? Or can I do TheraBands? And then if I'm going to get dumbbells, what amount of dumbbells should I get? Like how heavy should they be? This person says I should just do a ton of reps with 3 pounds. This person says I should be lifting 20 pounds and do fewer reps. And then is it okay to sit down during it, or do I need to stand up? And do I eat before? Do I eat after? Do I need to be taking creatine? And then how much protein do I need? And do I need to include walking? And I need to include some plyometrics, but not too much plyometrics because my hormones could get off balance. It is absolutely mind-boggling the amount of information out there and how we get different pieces of information from everyone. It literally paralyzes us. It's how our brain works. If you give your brain too many things to choose from, it doesn't know how to prioritize the top 3. It just shuts down and doesn't choose anything. And so when you are starting a program, having actually too many choices in front of you can limit and decrease your motivation, believe it or not, and decrease your ability to be consistent. So those are some common reasons that we tend to lack motivation, and then we lack the consistency that we need in order to see results. And it becomes a cycle. When we lack motivation, we're not going to be consistent, but we might be able to do something like 1 time a week. Right? Maybe it's 1 time a week. We can't do it every day. We don't have the motivation, so we do it 1 time a week. Well, if you jump into a really hard workout 1 time a week, what's going to happen? You're going to get sore. You're not going to like it. You're going to be less consistent. And then you lose that motivation because you don't feel safe in your body and you got sore and you don't know what to do, and you see the cycle that happens. So I really want to talk through some actionable steps to take to get through those pieces that we mentioned so that you can start to find motivation and consistency, because it is there. It is there, and it is actually one of the keys to unlocking joy and power and results with movement. You do need both of them, but we want to get through the steps to help you get there so it becomes this lifelong thing that you can work with. Okay, so let's address the feeling safe in your body piece. Only you know what that is. And I want you to take a few minutes, take a few days if you need to kind of dig in a little bit and figure that out. Like, do you have that partnership with your body? Can you listen to it? Does it talk to you? Do you speak to it in nice words? Are you open to hearing what it has to say? Can you kind of determine the information that it's giving you? Meaning, okay, that feels a little bit sore but it's just that I haven't used those muscles in so long. That's okay. Versus, ooh, this feels a little iffy. I've done this enough to know that might cause a flare. Can you determine those things? Do you have trauma that you need to work through with a trauma-informed therapist? Really ask yourself those things, because I truly believe until you get through some of those pieces, you're not going to see the motivation and the consistency you want. It includes physical therapy as well. If you have nagging knee pain that keeps you from doing every leg workout that I give you, I want you to go see a physical therapist. Let's figure this out. And that can lead to more motivation, right? So you might go to a physical therapist and say, Jessica, I'm still not motivated. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do it. Just do it. Trust the process and do it. And it starts then with consistency, because that PT, as long as they're a good one, they'll give you exercises to do at home. You do them consistently. You do them every single day, which then leads you to feel more safe in your body, leads you to feel stronger, leads you to have less pain, which then leads to more motivation to do more. But all of this comes because you have taken the time to let yourself start to feel that safety and start to feel that trust in your body again. A big one that I also tell people when it comes to being motivated and consistent, you have to make your workouts fit your life and not the other way around. You have to find a way for your workouts to fit into your life and not change your life to fit your workouts. Let me tell you an example of this and what I mean by this. A lot of people say working out in the morning is the best, right? First thing in the morning, work out on an empty stomach. Get it done in the morning. You'll have energy, okay? That message is all over the place. I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I wake up at 6:30 a.m., and that's just enough time to get myself showered, get my kids fed breakfast, get their lunches made, and get them out the door so I can start my workday and they get to school on time. I absolutely cannot wake up earlier than that, because the earliest I can go to bed at night, and again, get my kids to bed and snuggle them and read to them and have some time with my husband and then have some time with my red light maybe and read myself, the earliest I can get to bed is 10:30. So all of that to say, that's my life, and those are my priorities, and sleep is also my priority. If I tried to change my life to wake up an hour earlier to fit workouts, because everyone says that's what I need to do. They don't, but I'm saying if that's the message I think I'm hearing, I would absolutely not be consistent with that. I can tell you 100%. I would do a couple days and I would not like it. I mean, more than not like it. I would absolutely resent it, and I would be bitter about it, and it wouldn't be a good workout because I don't have energy in the morning. Like, I know myself. And so I instead make sure that I fit the workouts into my life. My life is right now at a place where I have a gym right next to where my daughter goes to school. So it works very well for me to go do my lifting, my dumbbell days on the days I take her to school. I go to the gym, I get it done, and then I come home. That fits my life great. When school is over and it's the summer, that won't fit my life so well. So I'm going to need to rearrange, because I know I'm not going to drive down to that gym while my kids are home from school in the summer. I'm just not. So why would I make myself do it? Again, I'd be upset about it. I'd be bitter about it. Instead, I will make sure I have dumbbells at home and do my dumbbell workouts. You are constantly adjusting the workouts to fit into the values of your life. If your friend invites you to a class that they absolutely love, that they think is the coolest, best class in the entire world, and it involves dancing, and the very last thing in the world you want to do is dance, and you have to drive 30 minutes out of your way to go to that class, there's no reason that you need to make that happen. You instead can find a great cardio workout to do at home that only takes 30 minutes that you don't have to drive across town. But then maybe you open yourself up to the possibility that 6 months from now, when that feels doable and you have a habit of doing cardio every week, that you say, you know what? I do have some time in my schedule now. I want to come check out that class, and it feels exciting to you. So this is a really important principle I want you to hear, because I think so much we feel like we have to change our life because, again, of all the information out there. I have to change when I eat. I got to change when I work out. I got to change when I sleep. No. Workouts can fit into your life and your values and the time that you have or you don't have. Life changes. You might have a partner that you need to take care of, or an elderly parent you're taking care of. Your kid's schedule might change. You might have an injury. You might be like me, that you're recovering from a surgery. All of that changes our life, but guess what? It doesn't change the workout habits that I have, because I have found a way to fit my workouts into the life that I have. And will it change periodically? Yeah, it changes in all the ways that I just told you. But because I've developed resilience and because I've made this such a habit, it's now not as big a deal when I need to make changes. So make sure you are not asking yourself to change everything about your life in order to work out, because that won't be sustainable. Instead, find workouts that fit into the life that you already have. Another piece to making motivation and consistency a little bit easier is to keep it simple. I know, like I said, there's so much information out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you are first starting out with a movement program, it does not matter to me if you eat beforehand, if you eat after, if you eat protein right after, if you eat carbohydrates before. It doesn't matter. Maybe in the long run, when you start tweaking and you're lifting heavy weights and you want to get more out of that weightlifting session, you can squeeze a little bit more energy out of eating in a really certain pattern. Okay, I'm not going to say there's not some science behind that, but that is minuscule gains, right? Those are small gains when you've already gotten to a certain point. When you are just starting and you just hope you have consistency, then again, you got to keep it simple, right? Are you hungry before a workout? Then eat. If you're hungry after, then eat. Make sure you're drinking a lot of water. Fit in the time that you have available. Keep it simple. Don't make yourself spend a ton of money on a boutique fitness studio across town that you're not going to use. Right? Do it at home if that is motivating to you. Spread out a mat in your office if you have space for that. Do mat-based workouts to start with so you don't need any equipment. Grab one pair of dumbbells so you have them at home. But allow yourself to keep it simple. It is much, much, much more important that you do, let's say, this one workout. Okay, let's say you have a 10-minute workout that you love. It is more valuable for you to do that every single day, every day, than it is for you to do a 1-hour workout one time a week. Because like we mentioned before, a 1-hour workout one time a week is going to freak out your nervous system. It might freak out your body. There's a lot of things that it can do. It might give you energy, but if you're not doing all the work in between those, then it's kind of new to your body every single time. It is more important to develop consistency by doing 10 minutes a day for a while, and then add on to it. Once that becomes your new baseline, then you add on and you do more, and then you do more, and then you do more. But you can keep it very simple, especially when you're starting out and consistency is a hard thing for you for any of those reasons, or if you're recovering from an injury. Keep it simple and pick a workout that feels good to you and just do it day after day after day. And then the final piece I'll add to this that can help with motivation and consistency is having a plan. And this is where kind of what it refers to as all that information out there that I told you about that can paralyze us with too many choices. Having a plan eliminates the need for you to choose every single day. And it might be you making a plan. It might be having a professional that you work with make a plan. It might be something like my Unlimited community. One of the biggest reasons I actually started Unlimited, and I'll tell you the truth, this is absolutely true. When I had my daughter, this was in 2013, and I was a physical therapist, I was a Pilates teacher, but I had the liberty and the luxury before she was born. I could go to the gym whenever I wanted. I worked out in my own Pilates studio whenever I wanted. I didn't really have a specific plan. I just worked out wherever I was. I had the time to do it. And then she was born, and suddenly I was nursing, and every minute was valuable and counted to me to do something, to work or to be with her. And I suddenly needed to figure out how to get the most out of 30-minute workouts at home when she napped. And this was new to me. I hadn't worked out much at home because, again, I owned a Pilates studio and there was a gym next door. Like, I always worked out away from the house. So this was new to me. So I was like, you know what? I want to figure this out, and I want to have a really specific plan that is getting the most out of every moment. So should I be lifting arms this day and legs this day, or should I do a combo day? When should I be doing cardio? And I spent so much time looking that up each day, like trying to find the right workout to do. It took me 20 minutes. And by that point, I was out of time to work out. Like I'd wasted all my time just because there were so many choices and I was a professional. And that's where Unlimited was born. I don't know if you know that, but that's where Unlimited was born. The monthly workout calendar and Unlimited was born from that, from my personal need to be told each day exactly what to do so that I would know at the end of each week that I had a full fitness plan and I had done it and I had checked the boxes and I was good to go. And I wanted them to be 30 minutes or less because that's the time I had. And if I had extra time, I was going on walks with the stroller. And so having a plan like that is invaluable when it comes to being consistent. And that can be different for everybody. But I highly recommend, as I said, that you pick some way to have a plan. Maybe it's in my Unlimited community. Maybe it's working with someone else. Or maybe it's just going to my YouTube channel, finding 2 workouts there that you really like, that you're like, I know these feel good. They're not scary to me. I like them. Maybe it's 1 Pilates and 1 dumbbell workout. And maybe you just alternate those day after day after day after day. That's a great plan. Maybe you have a plan to do those, and then in 4 weeks, you add a 20-minute walk every day to it. That's a great plan. But let yourself limit your choices and stick to the same thing. That alone is consistency, and that alone is power, because that starts to teach your body what to expect every day. It teaches your body that it can be safe moving. It will limit your soreness. So if you have a history of pain or soreness or autoimmune, that's really key, that your nervous system and your brain feels like you can move without soreness. And again, it creates this new baseline. So suddenly your new baseline is working out 20 minutes every day. Maybe it's just been 2 videos, but that's fine. Totally fine. So 6 weeks from now, you add a little bit more, or you add some variety. And then you can do it in a way that feels extremely motivating and is extremely consistent. Remember, motivation and consistency are available to you. You have not failed at these concepts. You are not lacking in willpower. You simply need to take some different steps to make sure that you're creating that partnership with your body, that feeling of being safe in your body, that feeling of finding something that feels like it's going to work for you long term. You're taking those actionable steps to get to a place where you can feel motivated and be consistent. So give yourself the grace, give yourself the time, do the work, because I know it takes work sometimes. Do the work to get there, and you absolutely will start to see those long-term results that you are hoping for. I will have links to Unlimited and to some other things I mentioned in the show notes below, and I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for joining me today on Meet Your Body. If you have a moment, please consider rating and reviewing this podcast, as it helps us tremendously. For more resources and workouts, you can visit my website, jessicavallantpilates.com, or find me on YouTube or Instagram at Jessica Vallant Pilates.